Mother St. John was the second foundress and superior general of the Sisters of St. Joseph of Lyon, born March 3rd, 1759 at Bassin-Bassé, Valais, France, and died the 22nd of November, 1843 in Lyon. In 1778, she entered a house of the Sisters of St. Joseph, which had just been established at Montestral by Bishop de la Gallarde of Le Puy. The following year, she received the habit and soon gave evidence of unusual administrative powers, particularly through her work in the schools. On her election 6 years later as superior of the community, Mother St. John, as she was now called, collaborated with the saintly founder in all his pious undertakings, aided in the establishment of a hospital, and accomplished much good among the young girls of the town. At the outbreak of the French Revolution, she and her community followed Bishop de la Gallarde in refusing to sign the oath of the civil constitution of the clergy, notwithstanding the example of the curé of Montestral, who went so far as to aid the government officials in their persecution of the sisters. Forced to disperse her community, the superior remained at her post until she was dragged forth by the mob and the convent taken possession of in the name of the community, after which she returned to her father's home. Not long afterwards, she was torn from this refuge to be thrown into the prison of Saint-Didier, and only the fall of Robespierre on the day before she was scheduled for execution saved her from the guillotine. Unable to regain possession of her convent at Montestral, she and her sister, who had been her companion in prison, returned to their father's house. 12 years later, in 1807, Mother St. John was called to Saint Etienne as head of a small community of girls and members of dispersed congregations, who, at the suggestion of Cardinal Fesch, Archbishop of Lyon, were now established as a house of the Sisters of St. Joseph. She restored the asylum at Montestral, repurchased and reopened the former convent, and on April 10th of 1812, the congregation received government authorization. In 1816, Mother St. John was appointed Superior General of the Sisters of St. Joseph and summoned to Lyon to found a general mother house and novitiate, which she accomplished after many difficult years of labor. During the remainder of her life, she supervised the scattered houses of the congregation. She also established over 200 new communities. An object of her special affection was the little band which she sent to the United States in 1836, and with which she kept in constant correspondence, making every sacrifice to provide them with the necessities of life. As we remember today Mother St. John Fontbonne, we recall the words of a letter that she sent to the United States. My affection for you makes me impatient, for distance does not separate us. Far from diminishing our love, but it renders it more tender and active. Everything here, moreover, reminds me of my absent ones, and I seem to meet you again in all those places in which I have so often seen you. Friends, says St. John Chrysostom, leave, as it were, something of their personality in those places where we have been with them and where they are departed. We are sensible of the tender sadness of the perfume of their presence. Alas, all passes away with time. Your remembrance alone remains to me for an immense distance. The ocean itself rolls between us. But if the ocean part us here below, we shall meet again in eternity. Oh, that I could better express what this thought, we shall meet in eternity, means to me, what consolation it gives me. What a joy shall be our first meeting in heaven. We shall be united, never, never again to part. Yes, I confidently believe our good God will receive us all.